WPSP. We Pick Sports. It's the We Pick Sports podcast. You're now tuning in to WPSP, the We Pick Sports podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to WPSP, the We Pick Sports podcast. I'm Chris Miller, a.k.a. Bill Skateboard.
Aaron Man.
And we're here with our NFL Week 2 picks, and we got our third guest of the season on here today, Petey J. Zeller.
Oh, pleasure to be here, gentlemen. It's always great to be down here in G-Maw's basement.
Doesn't get any better.
Yes, sir. This will actually be our probably last episode in this studio, and then we're moving out of the basement somewhere else. So
the first floor?
Yep. Yeah, the first floor. We're going for maybe even the second floor.
I don't know if we got the budget for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we'll get right into our Week 2 picks, but I just do a quick recap of last week. No one expected a lot of stuff that happened last week. It had some sloppy football. We did have some things that we did expect, but you take all your preseason expectations, throw them out the window now. We're in the fucking ringer now. Season's going, so we'll get right into this Week 2 NFL football. Thursday night, we got Minnesota coming into Philly. Now, Philly, I think, struggled a little bit more with the Pats than I thought they would, but Minnesota have lost to freaking Baker and Tampa, so I don't know if there's much to say about that. Either way, I'm going with Philly to take the dub on this one.
I'm actually a little bit torn on this one. I don't think it can be overstated that Philly did lose both their coordinators, and it kind of showed in week 1. They're a little sloppy on both sides of the ball. Their offense didn't look as good as it did last year. They actually had their least, so if this game was played last year, that would have been their lowest total yards in any game last year. They had their worst performance compared to any game last year, and it just wasn't fluid. It didn't look easy for them like it did last year, so I think I still like Philly to beat Minnesota. Minnesota didn't have a great week 1 either. They kind of struggled against Tampa Bay, who not a lot of people are expecting to be very good this year. I'm going to go with Philly, but I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll come down to the end.
Philly actually does rank right bottom 5 with those yards you were just talking about.
Yeah, that wasn't a good performance.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Hurts will turn it around. I know he looked pretty awful, as did many of the superstar quarterbacks out there. I got the Eagles winning. I think it'll be a fairly comfortable, probably 10-point win. They might score at the end of the fourth quarter to make it a 2-possession game, but I just think the Eagles will be too much for them. I mean, obviously, they got to cover Justin Jefferson. He's the number 1 weapon in the league, so as long as they don't let him beat them, they should be all right. And their defense is sick, so Kirk looked kind of like a dummy sometimes. But he's Kirk. I like Kirk a lot, so.
Hey, but primetime Kirk, too. Can't forget that.
Primetime Kirk.
Night.
He's a beast. But yeah, I think the Eagles will take care of business. So
this next game, we got Baltimore and Cincy. This one is another coin toss one for me. I mean, I know Cincy looked like shit last week against the Browns, and even Baltimore struggled a little bit against the Texans at times, and I think Baltimore lost a couple linemen and their starting running back, so they got injuries coming into this, but I'm thinking Joe Burrow revenge game. He's pissed about losing to the Browns almost every time he plays them, so he's home now. He's going to be taking on the Ravens. Joe Burrow with the dub.
This is going to be a close one. I do agree. As you said, the Bengals looked terrible week 1. There's no way around that. They were absolutely horrendous. I think Joe Burrow had like 80 passing yards. And the Ravens didn't look great for playing the Texans either. Just Lamar struggled a little bit. They lost a lot of players. Like you said, I think they're down 5 starters, which seems to always be a problem for the Ravens. In this one, though, I think I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think I'm going to feed the hot hand. Last year, the Bengals started 0-2 before getting hot. Joe Burrow didn't play any preseason. He looked really rusty week 1. I don't know if he's going to turn it around that quick, so I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think they're a little bit more ready right now, probably in a close game.
Yeah, it's a complete toss-up. It's a coin flip game. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Ravens' defense is always there. It's tough. The AFC North always seems to play these grueling games. They're always scraps, so I think it'll be a nice, close game. But I think with complete fantasy implications leading my pick, I'm going to go with the Bengals because I need Joe Burrow to do something this week. 85 yards, that was just atrocious.
Hey, you have one thing in common with the Ravens. All your starters are getting in.
Yeah, it's all right though. We're gonna persevere, just like the Ravens figure it out to do every year. So we'll figure it out. I think the Ravens are a scary, scary team. I mean, they're dealing with injuries like every other year. But I just think the Bengals are still the team to beat in the AFC North until proven otherwise, which the Ravens very well could, because the Ravens are a scary team, and I'm glad the Bills do not play them this year.
Yeah. What do we got? Seattle and Detroit. So when I saw this game before the season had started, I was thinking this is going to be, a really good game. Thinking of Seattle last year, Detroit coming into it. Now I'm favoring Detroit some more, but you never know. I mean, it could just be the week one scaries, and Seattle could still come through here. I don't know, but I'm going with Detroit on this pick.
So this is a game I'm actually really interested to watch. I might be at the Bills game, so I don't know if I'm going to get to watch this live. I'll be paying attention on my phone. Seattle didn't look good week one. They came out hot, but then kind of got stomped a little bit by the Rams. They were completely terrible in the second half of that game. I don't think that's indicative of the Seahawks. I still think they're a good team. They did the same thing, didn't play a lot of starters in the preseason. They kind of came out looking really rusty. I think week two they're going to play a little bit better. And honestly, Detroit, I didn't love the way they looked against Kansas City. They didn't come out looking that great. They talked all the smack in the preseason about how they're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs as the weapon or whatever. And then they came out and they didn't use him at all. He wasn't just...
He looked so explosive, too.
Yeah, when they did use him, he looked really good. And it's funny, the way that the Chiefs were playing that game, they were bringing a lot of pressure after Jared Goff. And I felt like Gibbs giving them little screen passes in space would have been a great way to counter that. But they just didn't do that at all. And I just don't know if they know their offensive direction quite yet. And I mean, Seattle clearly didn't look good week one either. It's not like their offensive direction was much better, but it's another coin flip game. I'm going to go with Seattle just because I don't think they're going to start 0-2. They're actually a team this year that I think could be a dark horse to make the Super Bowl. I really like the Seahawks whole roster, and I think Pete Carroll gets this team playing better week two.
Yeah, another really close game. I've been going back and forth because don't get me wrong, the Lions are good, I think. It's just really scary to pick them. 2-0 after they beat the Chiefs. I think they might have a little hangover being like, yeah, we just beat the Chiefs, returning Super Bowl champs in their field. David Montgomery had 21 carries. What is that? He only got 74 yards. It's stupid. I don't understand why you would draft Jahmyr Gibbs to freaking run him. I understand they're going to slowly introduce him into the offense, blah, blah, blah. He was the 12th overall pick in the draft. Get him in there. Every time he was in there, he looked sick. Fast, explosive. That spin truck move he was doing was sweet. I just don't understand why they don't play him. I think he'll get a lot more work this week. He proved he's not going to make too many stupid mistakes. He'll make mistakes. He'll fumble the ball like every other running back, but I think they start to incorporate him this week, and I think the Lions squeak away with a dub. But the Seahawks are a good team, a scary good team, I think. Their weapons are insane. Is Lockett back? Does he have a concussion?
I think he should. I think I read he was questionable, so I don't really know his status. But Seahawks just loaded on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
and they don't drop the balls like Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore and company. So
they actually have receivers on this team.
Yeah, and even if Lockett's out, I do think JSN's a serviceable number 2 wide receiver. I would certainly take him on the Bills. I think he's a weapon, and without Lockett there, if he doesn't play, I think could be a big game for him to break out and really show, hey, another Ohio State wide out. We're here. Ohio State, I think, is probably wide receiver U right now if JSN turns into something legit. But yeah, I don't know.
And I think on paper these are very similar teams.
A -6 line though is crazy.
I'm telling you, I think this game could be the NFC Championship game. Not 49ers
you
are
never
really
know.
Good, but there's potential for this to be a playoff game, if not the NFC Championship.
Definitely
game.
a playoff game.
I had them both making the playoffs.
Wouldn't be surprised at all if it's a playoff game.
But they're very similar. They both got mid-upper tier quarterbacks, weapons on offense, but then defense with some holes in it. I think last year Seahawks had problems with the run. Yep. They plugged those holes, and now they had some problems with the pass in the last game. So we'll see if they kind of get it all together.
A lot of young players. I think for them it's just going to be coming together. I think they just have a lot of young players, and those players are just developing slowly. I know they're really high on their young players, though. So I think the Seahawks starting slow. Maybe by the end of the year, this is a team that might just go on a run.
Might be rolling.
Like that. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. After that, we got another close one. 2 phenomenal teams, the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans, which makes it so close because they're not that bad. They're not that good. I don't know.
$24.
Richardson.
Remember that?
Richardson, you saw some flashes last week. He's a little banged up now. But for some reason, I'm just favoring the Texans on this one. I remember at the start of the season, I was like, Colts will get that. But I think the Texans are going to edge this one out somehow. I don't know why, but...
Yeah, these are all close games. It's funny. I was telling before that we recorded that I didn't think there's a lot of good games this week, but there's going to be a lot of close games. The Texans and Colts. C.J. Stroud, week 1, I liked the way he looked. I really did. I was expecting him to be bad. I wasn't a big C.J. Stroud guy, but he played pretty well week 1, all things considered, against a good Baltimore defense. Didn't make too many mistakes. I mean, he didn't lead them to any scoring drives, but he also didn't lose them the game. It's just he's out there throwing to Nico Collins and Tank Dell, It's tough sledding out there for him. Robert Woods, he had a good game. Robert Woods. The Colts, I really like the way Anthony Richardson looked. I thought he was... I am high on Anthony Richardson, but I thought he was going to be dog water this year. Yeah. And he looked way better than I expected week 1. Really played good in the passing game, commanded the offense well. It's very obvious that Shane Steichen set him up well to succeed in that offense. Both defenses are kind of meh, although the Texans overachieved, I'd say, week 1 on the defensive end. I'm torn on this one.
Was it Will Anderson? Is he the guy in the Texans that drafted too?
Yep, Will Anderson.
Decent.
Third, yeah, he had a good game. Their secondary played well. Stingley, he was playing pretty good week 1. I'm going to go with Indianapolis, I think. I like the Colts. Just I like Anthony Richardson more. He is a little banged up, but he's a big fella, and if he, against a weak defense, if he can play to his full potential this game, the Texans are going to have a really hard time containing the things he can do.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I don't know, quite honestly, where to lean in this game. It's C.J. Stroud did look good. I like C.J. Stroud. I was very skeptical on him coming in. He's short. I mean, I just don't. And watching him at Ohio State last year, he doesn't use his legs like at all. And he's fairly fast, and he could get some easy yards just running out of the pocket and running out of bounds. I think that's something he really should try to get in his game. I think he might be scared of contact or something because he never did it in college either. It's just, I think he needs to run a little bit. I mean, 242 yards, though, passing was pretty decent. I didn't expect too much, especially against that Ravens defense. Yeah. I thought he was going to get murdered. Anthony Richardson, I was skeptical on him coming in, too. I know he's a super freak, but he couldn't win games at Florida, so I was like, what's the difference? Like, how is he gonna? I mean, he's fast as hell though, and he's a
big motherfucker,
physical specimen.
Huge arm.
He's a physical specimen. If he can tone and like get some good accuracy, he looked good. He looked to have a great connection with Michael Pittman Jr. So as long as he can keep feeding Michael Pittman Jr., I think they'll be all right. They played the Jaguars really tough. I think that they'll find a way to get the dub. I think the Colts should win this game. I just think they have more weapons, mostly Michael Pittman. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I want to say one thing, too, about your talking about his athleticism. I don't know if you guys knew this, but so the NFL has tracked every player in the Combine since 1998 based off their athleticism grading. And out of all players, the one that ranked the highest in their athleticism grading is Anthony Richardson. That's including corners, safeties, running every position. And this is the most athletic guy to enter the NFL that went to the Combine since 1999.
Right?
He's a little banged up, but I don't think
was it his shoulder?
Yeah, I think he got a deep bruise on his shoulder. They said
he's got to be
deep bruise in his knee.
That.
Actually, Trevor Lawrence went to him after the game, and he told him, he's like, I want us to have a good rivalry. You got to take care of yourself out there.
Yeah, that's scary. It's scary that he's getting banged up already in game 1 of the NFL season. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully he stays healthy because he seems like a really exciting quarterback, and I'd love to watch highlights of him as long as it's not against the Bills.
Yeah. Colts favored by 1 too.
That's a toss-up.
Yeah. This next one's a toss-up for me, too, which is Chicago at Tampa Bay. That Minnesota-Tampa Bay game, I don't even know how to feel about that. I was surprised by Tampa Bay, and I was not surprised by Minnesota. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, I was really high on Chicago last week, but they kind of looked like dog water last week, and Jordan Love impressed.
Worst team, I think.
It was really bad. That was atrocious. So I'm gonna say Tampa Bay's gonna edge this one out. It'll still be maybe I'll go by 10 points. They're gonna edge it out by like 10 points. So we'll see.
I like it too. I like that pick there, Bill. And I think that, Chris, I should call you about your professional name. Chris Bill Skateboard, whatever we're calling him on here.
It's my entertainment.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm going with the Buccaneers to win big in this one. And I think this is kind of two teams that everyone was too high on Chicago in the preseason, and everyone was too low on Tampa Bay in the preseason. And I think that they're playing here in week 2. Chicago, they had all this hype about them. I just didn't really get it. Their offensive line didn't get any better. They made the worst defense in the league, maybe like the 22nd best defense in the league. Like, it's an improvement, but people were talking about them winning the NFC North and stuff, and I just don't know about all that. They looked like the team of last year during week 1. Justin Fields, I didn't see the improvement that I really hoped I would see. He was still I tried to pay a lot of attention to this game because I was really interested in the Packers and Bears. And Fields was still just doing the same thing, kind of running around, giving up on his first read and scrambling away. Inaccurate at times. He did not play that good, and the Chicago defense let Jordan Love look like Aaron Rodgers out there. I mean, they just let him absolutely shred him, and we don't know if Jordan Love's that good yet. It might just be the Bears' defense is that bad. Yeah. As for Tampa Bay, everyone kind of forgot they got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on that team, and Baker Mayfield obviously is not, going to be the MVP of the league or anything like that, but if you give him those kind of weapons, he's a serviceable quarterback. He's not terrible, and especially behind a good offensive line. I mean, they have Tristan Wirfs on the right side. He's one of the best tackles in the league. Their center, Jensen, he's pretty good. I know they're pretty good up front. Defensively, Devin White's the guy that a lot of people are low on. He played pretty decent week 1. The secondary played modestly decent week 1. I really like the Buccaneers to win this one big. I think this is a team that could be in contention for that division this year. I'm curious to see how it ends up playing out.
I think it's anybody's game.
Yeah, I think they're definitely in the division.
It feels to me like everyone wrote off Tampa Bay. Like that was the one team that wasn't in it in the preseason, and I just don't see it that way. I think they're still very much in it as anyone else.
Yeah, that NFC South division, I didn't have a freaking clue. I feel like it's a clusterfuck down there, so I didn't know what to do with that. Tampa Bay, I think everybody's waiting for the Mike Evans drop-off. I think that's why everybody's so low on them, because Mike Evans has been good for how long? I mean, what is he, 32 now? He's got to be getting maybe Johnny Manziel's age, right?
I think he might have just turned 30.
Yep, just turned 30. So that he's got 4 years left of being probably a great wide receiver. So I'm interested to see where he goes after this. The Bears, you didn't see any maturation from Justin Fields. Running around with his head cut off, fumbling the ball, throwing the ball away, didn't look great. I want him. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with their running backs. Who did they have in that? Because they had Deontay Foreman, Khalil Herbert, and
Johnson guy, a rookie named Johnson, who did the goal line work.
Yeah,
Herbert got nothing. It's God damn it!
There was no fluency with that offense.
No,
they didn't throw anything to DJ Moore. They didn't give him any opportunities, which was really 2 attempts to him. You got to try to get him more involved in the game.
Definitely.
The screen game he had in preseason was sick. I don't know why they would go away from it. He's fast as crap. I just don't know what they're doing. They need to get him involved in the game. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're still the worst team in the league, just like last year. Unless Justin Fields has a complete turnaround, they're going to be the worst team in the league. So,
or if the Cardinals really take it down.
Yeah, I mean, but Cardinals looked way better than the damn Bears.
If they played today, I would take the Cardinals. I'd be picking the Cardinals in that game.
Yeah, I agree. They got more fight in them.
Yeah, they just...
Their defense ain't that bad.
It's a make it or break it year for Justin Fields. He's either going to get benched to whoever they draft this year, or...
They're bringing back Jay Cutler. No,
it's Jay Cutler's season.
I hope Caleb Williams like the Windy City.
Yeah.
He might be heading there.
That'd be great. Get him to the freaking NFC.
Yep.
We don't need any more quarterbacks.
No.
A lot of good ones this year.
So speaking of the NFC, we'll move on to the AFC with 2 AFC juggernauts. We got Kansas City and Jacksonville going at each other.
Game of the week.
Yeah. Based on what I saw with KC against the Lions, I don't know how to feel, but they have Chris Jones now. He's on a 1-year contract. Travis Kelce should be back, and Andy Reid will probably be like, all right, start catching these balls or hit the road. I don't know, start the Rashee Rice some more or something. I don't know. Jacksonville, though, they're dangerous, but the Colts gave them a run for their money, so I'm taking Mahomes and the Chiefs edging this one out. It should be a shootout, though.
It's going to be a really good game. I'm excited to, if I'm at the Bills game, I won't get to see this one live, but I'm going to be paying attention to this one too. It should be a high-scoring matchup, I think. So Kansas City week 1 didn't look good. I don't think Kadarius Toney could possibly play that bad again. So I imagine that that'll be an upgrade there. Rashee Rice looked good in his first game. They didn't go to him in the second half. In the first half, he looked really good. I would like to see him more involved. They gave Justin Ross 6 snaps, and in those 6 snaps, he was better than Kadarius Toney once again. Their usage of their wide receivers was kind of questionable. Same with MVS, Valdez Scantling. He looked decent in the first half on some deep shots. In the second half, there was like, we're going to pass to Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, even though it's not working whatsoever, and it didn't work whatsoever. I expect Kansas City to bounce back. Andy Reid has been in the league for 23 years now, and he always adjusts to this kind of thing. Jacksonville week 1, it was a mixed bag. Their defense looked decent at times, and sometimes their offense was cooking with Calvin Ridley, with Ingram. Their whole unit was looking real good. Zay Jones had a big touchdown grab. Yeah, he was looking real good. And then there were times where Trevor Lawrence kind of made some questionable decisions. They looked a little lost out there. It was hard. I had a hard time deciphering what they did week 1. I'm high on the Jaguars this year. I think they're going to be really good. And for that reason, I'm going to pick the Jaguars in this game. But this is probably the pick I'm most scared to make, because I really think that Kansas City is going to be playing determined in this game. And it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the spot. But I'm just going to differ and say I'm going to go with Jaguars in this one.
Yeah, not a bad pick. I'm just not going to make that pick. Chris Jones is back. Travis Kelce's back. They're going to fucking feed him and feed him and feed him because clearly they don't have anybody else, I guess. So I think it'll be a good game, a close game. I could see the freaking Jaguars winning, and I wouldn't be too surprised at all. Jaguars are a good team, like a really good team, so... Ridley looked insane.
He looked great.
He looked really good, and I can only imagine he's going to be better after some real game experience. Oh, yeah. And the connection between him and Lawrence is going to be sick. I don't know why the Falcons got rid of him for change. I don't understand.
Well, they wouldn't have used him anyways.
I hear you there, but they couldn't have gotten anything better for him.
Yeah, that must have. You have to think that's the best they got.
Why didn't they wait until he? Because why didn't they wait until he was going to actually be back? I just don't understand. And if that's all it cost, Brandon Beane, pick the fucking phone up, dude. Calvin Ridley, bro.
Well, I don't remember the situation, but I want to say that his contract was up and the Jaguars had to re-sign him after they traded him. Okay. So I could be wrong. That's off the top of my head.
I'm not 100% sure.
I think I do remember that, so I think that might have been why they got him so cheap. But at the same time, I would have loved to see the Bills either way take that call and then pay him, you know?
Pay him. I mean, because now we're in this limbo situation with Gabe Davis, but we're not on the Bills right now.
No.
Sticking with the Chiefs-Jaguars game, which is amazing. Great game. I think Patrick Mahomes will be back and doing his Kermit the Frog shit, and Kelsey will be doing his freaking tool bag shit. It'll be a good game, but I think the Chiefs will find a way to win.
Yeah, speaking of the Chiefs, do you guys see that new commercial with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes?
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Andy Reid going for the Nuggets, dude.
He's like, can I get it done?
Every time I see that shit, it has me laughing.
It's pretty funny.
It's better than the ones.
Yeah. It's hard to not like
mustache one.
Better than Pat Mahomes sitting in a bathtub with bath bombs.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. What we got up next? We got Green Bay at Atlanta. This could be another close game. I don't know if it'll be the best game to watch, but it'll be a close one. Yeah, like you said earlier, I don't know if Jordan Love's good because the Bears suck or if Jordan Love's good, but I'm going to ride with Atlanta. I said in week 1, they're my sweetheart team this year to just go far, and I think they're just going to run it down their throats. It'll be a close one, but I just want Bijan to score a shit ton and don't give any carries to Tyler Algier, and that's my take.
You must not have liked week 1 if that's what you want to see. Well, I'm going to go a little bit different direction here. I'm calling this my steamroll of the week. I think the Packers are going to decimate the Falcons in this game. I actually do like Atlanta too, so me saying that isn't really a detriment on the Falcons. It's just, I like Arthur Smith as a coach. I really do. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know what he's doing with this offense. Like, it makes no sense. He has all these weapons. I mean, I get Desmond Ritter's Desmond Ritter. He's obviously not the guy. Everyone knows he's not the guy, but 112 yards passing or whatever it was week 1. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Bijan Robinson, who's a great passing option out of the backfield. You have Drake London. You have...
Did he get a catch?
No, he didn't have a single catch. He played, I think it was like 40-something snaps, no catches or something like that. Their backup receiver's pretty good. I forget his name, but I know they got another decent receiver. That's their backup.
Scotty Miller, I think, is on their team.
I don't think that's what I'm talking about.
Scotty Miller's booty.
Either way, there's weapons all over the place on this team. They just don't know how to use them. The defense is nothing special.
They got Mac Hollins.
Scott
Miller, Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, I might be on a crack. I don't know. They might
Scotty
not.
Miller's their starting slot.
Either way, their backup running back, Tyler Algier, he's been pretty good the last 2 years. I mean, there's pieces on this team, but they're just not really doing much with them. I mean, it wasn't an impressive performance against the Panthers. The Panthers really suck. As for Green Bay, I was really impressed with them week 1. Jordan Love looked sharp. He looked really good. And like we said, we're not sure if that's because the Bears suck or he's good, but he looked really good there. He looked good against the Eagles last year, too, in his short stint there. The Packers' defense still looked like a pretty solid unit. I mean, they didn't let the Bears do anything. Once again, Bears might just be bad. Weapons all over the place. I think Christian Watson's supposed to be back this week, right?
I'd imagine.
He's questionable right now.
Yeah, Christian Watson's supposed to be. If he's back, I like this as a steamroll even more.
Heineke season.
I think the Packers are another team that was slept on in the preseason. I think it's a really good roster. Matt LaFleur is a really good coach, and Jordan Love's had 3 years to sit behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and just learn, and it kind of looked like that week 1. So I think the Packers make a statement here in week 2 and get a really big win.
And the only reason I want Bijan is because he's on my team. That's the only reason I want him to steamroll.
He's nasty. He could.
He's nasty. He's explosive. He's sick. Kyle Pitts is awesome. Kyle Pitts is sick. Drake London's awesome. He's sick. And I got the Packers by about 12 to 13 because Desmond Ridder is booty. He's booty cheeks. He can't. I would not be surprised this year if we see Taylor Heineke come in. I don't understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with trying to roll with this kid. I just don't see it. I didn't see it last year when he played. I don't see it this year when he plays. I just don't think Ritter is good.
I didn't understand the hard commit to them.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I mean,
when Lamar Jackson was on the table, they should have made a play because Lamar Jackson in that offense,
that would have been sick.
They would have been filthy,
and I would have been happy because he's in the NFC now. Yeah. I think the Falcons should be smart and fucking tank the shit out of it this year. Go get you one of these amazing quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Even if you're sitting 4 or 5, you still got a shot at one of them, and there's a good chance a couple of them are good. I just don't know. I mean, they might be sitting in Bills limbo at 8-8 forever, 7-9, and never get a good draft pick until you finally find your Josh Allen. They're a decent team. I like them. They're explosive. I think Jordan Love's good. I actually do think he's good. He has some beautiful balls. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to look stupid sometimes. But the way he throws it, dude, the way he's, like, even in the preseason, he had some nice balls. Like,
you really like
beautiful balls, dude. Like, fucking balls,
nice
dude.
Packers.
And I don't really like the Packers. I don't know why. I used to like the Packers, but
it is so unfair. They get Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
This might be the reason.
Looks like he's the man.
Yeah.
They don't even have to have between years. They're just getting franchise quarterbacks left and right. I agree with you. The things he does good, that they're hard to do good, and it's easy to see it with him. I'm with you. I think he's going to be the guy. I want to see it more this season, but I'm with you there.
I think he'll have a solid year, and then I think he'll only get better. So, yeah, Packers will win. It should be a good game, but I got them pulling away at the end. 12, 13-point game.
Let's see. What do we got next? All right, so we got the Las Vegas Raiders in Buffalo. So we need some redemption this week, and I think this is the game for it. We're going to be back home, and, we made a lot of mistakes last week, but, what do you expect? That'll happen. And so I think Buffalo's going to come out, and we're going to show what Buffalo really is about. It might be close. It's not going to be a blowout or anything.
It's going to be a blowout.
I hope it is. I think we'll win by 2 scores. I'm thinking we'll win by 14. Something like, 34 to 20 or minus 10 on both sides of that. Something like that. But I'm taking Buffalo.
Yeah, the Raiders looked pretty good week 1 against the Denver Broncos.
Scary Broncos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the Broncos still yet. But
me neither.
I like Jimmy G and Josh McDaniel's system more than I like Derek Carr in that system. I will say Jimmy G, The guy's a winner. Like, what can you say about Jimmy G? Like, you can talk all the shit you want about that guy, but no matter what situation he's been in, he just has a knack for leading teams to wins. It makes no sense. He's really not that great, but he's able to win games. The Raiders' defense looked improved week 1. Once again, they were against the Broncos. I don't know what to make of that. Up front, though, they were getting a lot. Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers in the league. He's going to be getting pressure on Josh Allen.
2 to 3 sacks, probably.
Yeah, Josh. But the Raiders, I like the way they looked week 1. However, the Bills definitely should win this game. There's no reason the Bills shouldn't win. They got to come back. They won't be. I'm talking about the Raiders' defense is improved. It's still nowhere in the same stratosphere as the Jets' defense. The Bills won't be under that kind of duress. The secondary won't be as good. Stephon Diggs should absolutely cook that Raiders secondary, and I hope maybe Dalton Kincaid can get going too. I'd like to see him get going a little bit in this game. But for the Bills, number one, the protection up front has to be better. I get the Jets have a great defensive front. It's really deep. They're able to keep guys fresh, rotate guys in and out. But the offensive line didn't impress me in that game. They kind of let a lot of pressure get to Josh, and Josh just has to get his head out of his ass. Like, there's some times where it's okay to just throw the ball out of bounds, or it's okay to take the check down. And I don't know how much of that's on him and how much is on Ken Dorsey, because when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator, Josh seemed to understand that concept. But now with Ken Dorsey, it's like Ken Dorsey's like, hey, Josh, just fucking rip it, you know? And unfortunately, we won 13 games last year, so it's hard to say it didn't work, but when you're playing good teams, it doesn't work. You know, you gotta be a little smarter in the situations. Bills defense, though, looked really good against the Jets and Zach Wilson. I think we'll win this game. I think we'll win this game handedly, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders kept it close. And I'll tell you what, if the Raiders find a way to win this game, I'm giving up on the Bills season. I hate to be the guy that gives up week 2, but if the Raiders win this game, I'm full on. I hope we have a bad season so we can finally get Sean McDermott out of the building. And I say that finally. I'm not a Sean McDermott guy. Defensive coaches don't win in the NFL anymore. Look at the last 6 coaches who have gone to the Super Bowl. All offensive guys. A defensive mind does not work in the NFL anymore. He was good enough to turn the franchise around, and I'll always appreciate him for that, but he won't be the guy to lead us to a Lombardi. We need an offensive mind.
So, it's your friendly, optimistic Bills fan here. Bills are going to win by 15. But last week really pissed me right the fuck off. I don't understand what Josh thinks. Don't get me wrong, Dorsey, don't like him, want him out of the building. Josh, it's his 6th, 7th year? What are we doing? Why are you running backwards, about to get sacked, and humchuck it 60 yards down the field to the middle of the field? What are we doing? Like, just be smart. That's all you needed to do to beat the fucking poverty Jets with Zach Wilson now. I mean, the Jets' defense is fucking amazing. I think they have the best defense in the league. Dude, they are insane. Insane. They're Josh's kryptonite. It is what it is. It's a week 1 game. Week 1 games are frauds. That being said, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this Raiders game because they're not awful. They got a great running back who we know how great our run D is, so he'll probably run for about $150, a touchdown or 2. But I think, is Jacoby out? Because he looked
Jacoby
like
Myers?
he looked like he was dead, dude.
No, he got absolutely wrecked. He looked great that game.
He looked amazing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, our secondary is kind of suspect. I'm not the biggest fan of our secondary, and Devontae Adams might have a day
Jordan
against
Poyer
us.
is slow.
He is. Our corners, I don't know about any of them.
Benford's fast as shit, though.
Yeah, he caught up to Brees Hall.
But Brees Hall's hurt still.
His coverage grades aren't phenomenal. I don't know
think-
about our secondary and Devontae. That's what scares me about this game is Devontae
2
Adams
on
and Jimmy
him.
G. Yeah.
Put 2 on him. That's all you need to do.
The problem is then we get beat up front by the little white guy. What's his name?
Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter
Renfrow.
Taron Johnson, you're supposed to be one of the best slots in the league. Nut up or shut up. It's time to fucking lock him down. Put a safety over Devontae Adams. Should be an easy win. Josh Allen's gonna have a redemption game. I said 3 to 4 touchdowns last week. I meant 3 to 4 turnovers.
I think that's actually what you said.
You covered.
Everybody else just misheard.
So, Josh Allen's gonna have a bounce back week. He needed it. I mean, fucking face of the fucking Madden, dating a Hollywood superstar, living the Hollywood life. It's not what you can live as an NFL quarterback, and
Buffalo.
yeah, and expect to. He needed to get punched in the fucking face. You can tell he's pissed off right now. I would rather fucking blow it in the beginning of the year than the end of the year. Get the stinkers out while we can. Week 1. I'm just coping, but it's all right. I got the Bills. The Raiders. have 3 players that I'm scared of on their offense, and then Max Crosby on their defense. That's super scary. And he's probably going to be on Spencer Brown all fucking night. So we need to fucking have Dawson Knox stay in and chip and block Max Crosby all game. Our wide receivers should be able to get open on this poverty fucking secondary, and we should be able to take care of business. If we lose, I'm not quitting on the entire season. I will go into a very early panic mode, though. I will be very scared. I think Sean McDermott can still take us to the title, but I do believe we need a new offensive coordinator. We need somebody from outside of the building that sees something with a new light. I want a young one, like you said, a nice young fucking guy that's going to come up and get a fucking sick offense. Tell Josh, and actually, like, I don't know if Ken Dorsey's controlling the room or if Josh is.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'm scared of. I just feel like Josh has too much power, and he's just too stupid to have it right now.
Yep.
Like, Peyton Manning is one thing, Tom Brady is one thing. They don't turn the ball over 45 times a game, and this is the reason we can't win the Super Bowl, is Josh's decision-making. You get these games with Josh. You don't get the amazing games without the bad games, so I get that, but he just needs to know in these big, tight games, we can't be doing this shit. Yep. And where he fumbles the ball, missing the fucking snap, just fall down, Josh. Just fucking take it. And that 2nd and fucking 15 in overtime, what are we doing running a fucking draw? Right at Quinnen Williams, like, what are we doing?
That's the one of the worst play calls I've ever seen.
Dude, I was like...
Dude. When we lost on the punt return, I'm like, we deserve to lose this game. I was like, whatever. Zach Wilson, congrats.
Yeah, whatever. On to bigger, better things. Bills are going to fucking take care of business in Highmark. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. Bills are going to take care of business. Don't worry. We'll be back. We still them boys.
We own the Raiders.
Yeah, poverty franchise.
Yeah. I agree with what you said with but I'd rather get the stinkers out early, because last year we started hot and then we kind of freaking fizzled out at the end, which you don't want that going into the playoffs and all that.
Yeah, I am just a little scared because we looked like this all at the end of the last year.
Yeah, we look like we looked at the end of the year right now.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
I genuinely today don't think we're winning the division. I don't. I think Miami's
I'd be fine with that.
I think Mike McDaniels, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches in the league, and what he's done with that franchise and that offense is incredible. If Tua stays healthy, I'm scared of that team. I don't see how we beat that team with the way we've looked the last 10 games, because Tua is incredibly accurate.
He's electric.
People talk a lot of shit about Tua and try to put, well, let's wait till we get to the Dolphins. Let's wait till we get to the Dolphins.
Electric.
I'll talk about him more there, though.
Yeah, anyways, we're at the halfway point. We got 8 games down. So we have a new segment this week that Aaron Mann will take over.
Introducing to you a highly anticipated new segment that was created because of our lovely buddy Cody Galton. It's called Cody Galton's Take of the Week.
Buddy's a strong word.
So Cody Galton had an absolutely brilliant idea that I think could lead the Bills to the Super Bowl. So next year he's thinking we trade Stephon Diggs for Dak Prescott. And that's your Take of the Week.
That's all.
Thanks for tuning in to that.
I don't think we need to say anything about that.
That's our Take of the Week.
Yeah.
Cody Galton's.
We're keeping Josh Allen, too, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to have fucking 60 to 80% of our
Prescott or
Dak is our
backup, or was
We have to
Josh
ask
our
Cody, I don't
backup?
know.
I think he's thinking Dak's the
Or
starter.
do we do a dual system? You throw one.
Two
and score.
QBs at the
Two
same
QBs
time.
At the same
They
time.
just toss it back and forth to each other a lot, and one of them throws
We
it.
have one run routes. Josh is tall.
With no weapons. Because we can't afford anybody. Because Dak makes more than Josh, right?
No.
I think
his contract is
Josh
before Josh.
got
Right
big
before
run,
Josh?
yeah.
Okay. So,
Either
but
way,
still,
we'll
he's
get
probably
back.
making, what, $40 million a year?
Yeah, there's something we can't afford. Not that, let's stop talking about this like it's a realistic thing and move on.
Yeah, that's Cody Galton's take of the
Yeah,
week.
that's Cody Galton's take.
Stick into another take next week.
Moving on to game number 9, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. I said last week I was going back and forth on the Chargers and Dolphins, and it proved to be true with that game, 34-36.
Game of the week.
Unfortunately, for the AFC East, the Dolphins won, but yeah, that game was insane. But now I think Chargers going on the Titans, I'm thinking the Chargers are going to take this. I don't think they're going to blow them out, though, the way they were playing the Dolphins. I think they're going to play down to their opponent a little bit, but I think they'll win by 1 touchdown.
So this one is actually my upset special of the week right here because everyone's picking the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Titans in this one. Here's why. Every single game the Titans are in under Mike Vrabel is a close game. Mike Vrabel's teams plays tough. They play mean. It's always a sloppy, low-scoring game. I think Derrick Henry gets... First off, the Chargers' defense is the highest-paid defense in the NFL. Brandon Staley is supposed to be this defensive mastermind, and yet they're bad. That's a really bad defense. It makes no sense. They have all these names. They have one of the Bosa brothers out there who are very good. Mm-hmm. They have Derwin James. They have Khalil Mack. They have pieces.
Who would have known they have Khalil Mack and
Joey Bosa. They have pieces all over the place on this defense. It's terrible. It makes no sense. Brandon Staley's going to be fired at the end of the year. I'm very confident in that statement. That's not even that's a bold take. That's just I think that's what's going to happen. He's not a very good head coach. Wouldn't be surprised if Kellen Moore ended up getting that head coaching job. See if I got that prediction right at the end of the year, I guess. But I like the Titans in this one. Ryan Tannehill looked terrible week 1. That's the only thing that concerns me. He was really bad through 3 picks, just did not look fluid. I think Derrick Henry will get going against this Chargers run defense, though. And I don't think that's going to be a very high-scoring game, but the Chargers just always, like you said, play down to the level of their opponents. And Mike Vrabel always plays in close games. I'm going with a better coach in this game. I think Mike Vrabel coaches this team to a win. And I think kind of the panic mode starts for Chargers fans like it does every year around this time.
Well, fuck Mike Vrabel. You want to know the 13th leading tackler on the Titans? It is DeAndre Hopkins. He had 2 solo tackles because Ryan Tannehill is shit. Did you... Watching his throws was just so funny. Like, it was like, what are we doing, dude? He went 16 for 34, 3 interceptions. It's not sustainable. If you come here and play the it might be in Nashville, whatever, same thing. If you play the Chargers like that, they're going to put up points. That offense is too good. I mean, I understand there's a lot of questions with them. I have questions too. They just like to blow every game in the world, but they hung in there with probably the number 1 team in the NFL right now in the Dolphins, and I thought they played well, other than they just choke like they do every fucking game in the second half against great teams. But I got the Chargers. I think the Titans are bad. And I just don't think they're going to do good this year. I'm not high on the Titans at all. They very well could win and make me look stupid, but I just think there's too much on the Chargers side of offense. Even though I agree completely with the defense, you would not know Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the field at the same time. No. And then Derwin James, where is he not covering Tyreek Hill? J.C. Jackson, where is he getting pass interferences at every fucking play and getting burnt by Tyreek Hill?
All that money for nothing.
Like, I don't understand why they stopped the game plan they did last year against the Dolphins, but the Chargers are stupid. They're a good team, though, and I think they're much better than the Titans, so I think they'll take care of business this week, and then they'll still go into panic mode at some point because they're gonna fucking blow every game they have in the world.
Yeah, like the Cowboys do sometimes.
Yeah.
2 quick things on the Titans too. Number 1, I agree with the Tannehill take, and I'm guessing before week 5 this is Malik Willis's team because Tannehill's washed. But he looked really good in the preseason. I'm not saying he's gonna come out there and play phenomenal, but he'll be better than what Ryan Hannibal.
What about Will Levis? They're gonna save him for the next year.
Week 9.
Nah, he's bad. I'm not a Will Levis guy. I don't
Me
think
neither,
he's
but
very
good.
I think Willis will come in and he'll play.
I
think he'll play serviceable. I'm not saying he's going to come out there and play crazy good, but he looked good in the preseason. His arm looked a lot better than last year.
Nate Peterman looked good in preseason.
We'll see. We will see. We're going to leave it at we will see. I'm telling you though, he'll start games for the Titans this year because Ryan Tannehill's washed. And don't sleep on the defense for the Titans. That's a legit defense right there. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best pass rushers in the league. They have really good linebackers. The secondary is a little aged, but that's a legit defense right there. Agree. So I don't sleep on the D, and I'll be curious to see this game. I think this is going to be an interesting game to track.
Yeah, if the Bills play the Titans, you already know Kevin Byard's getting at least 1 interception. So.
At least 1, probably 3.
Yeah, 3.
No, with Josh this year, yeah.
Next game we got San Fran and Los Angeles Rams. With the Rams, it kind of reminds me of the Packers-Bears game with how they played the Seahawks. I can't tell if the Rams are better than I expected because the Rams always had the Seahawks number.
They do.
Yeah, so it might be that. They kind of were able to spread them out with all these, I'd say, no-name receiver. I mean, Tutu Atwell and Akua, what was it?
Puka Akuna or whatever.
So, not no-name.
The original statement of no-name receivers.
Yeah, no-name receivers.
I call them cool-named receivers. They got cool names. But they were able to get that dub with Seattle, but I don't think they stand a chance against San Francisco. I think San Francisco is very good. I think they're better than they were last year. And I think, that's all that has to be said there.
Yeah, it was nice that the Rams got that Week 1 win. I think that was a fluke, though. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Rams are that good. I think Seahawks will probably roll them the second time they play, too. There's just too many rookies on that team. I think they had like 30 rookies on their 53-man roster, just something ridiculous. I'm not going to spend too much time in this game. San Fran looked good. Everyone saw it. The defense is legit. The offense, it's Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is absolutely Sean McVay's daddy. I think he's like 7-1 against that dude. And the 49ers are going to win big. I don't even need to spend time on this one.
Yeah, we don't need much. Niners are going to fuck them up. We saw him put up 1,000,000 points against Steelers defense, who I always think is good. Yeah. I mean, the Bills fucked him up last year too, but still, Niners offense is fucking insane, and their defense is insane too. Niners by murder.
Oh, yeah. This next game, we got the Giants in Arizona.
This is a game of the week.
It could be. Yeah.
Tickets for $22.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Arizona played harder than I thought they would against the Commanders. There's times when
it looked like Commanders are duty too.
That too. I think I was too high in the Commanders. Maybe that's it. I was just too high in the Commanders. But Arizona's defense
not that duty though.
Didn't look terrible. But I don't know how much of that can be attributed to Sam Howell going against them. But the Giants got murdered by Dallas, and I can't tell if that's because Dallas is really good or the Giants just kind of suck. But either way, I'm going with Arizona on this one. I think Arizona's going to get the dub by a field goal.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, and I just hope I'm not getting too low on the Giants. And I know the Cowboys' defense is really good, but God, they looked awful in all three phases in that game. Normally from a game, you can take like something positive away and be like, yeah, we did this pretty decently.
Nothing.
I don't got it. I mean, I guess they kind of slowed down the passing attack to an extent.
It was 40-0.
Yeah,
they slowed it down to turning the ball over, so they didn't.
They stopped passing. They stopped passing.
Like the defense wasn't atrocious. They just kept getting put in terrible spots by the offense, but it was not a lot good to take away. This is a team that overachieved last year, and they made a terrible decision repaying Daniel Jones all that money. I don't understand why they did that. Brian Daboll's smarter than that. I do not understand that.
He wants to get fired and come back home with Josh.
We need him. We'll take him all day. He can be the head coach if he wants. I don't care.
I'd be fine with that.
But I like the Cardinals in this one too. That defense is good. They have a good pass rush. There's good pieces. The Cardinals, these are both bad teams. These are both going to be near picking in the top 5 in the draft, I think. Cardinals offense, Josh Dobbs just doesn't turn the ball over. James Conner, people think he's a good running back. Not me personally, but I know a lot of people that like James Conner. And yeah, I think it'll be one of those games that I feel bad for anyone that's going to watch it, and it's going to end up being like Cardinals 13, Giants 9 or something like that.
Yeah, this is a terrible game. I said last week, sleeping on the Giants, but I'm gonna peek an eye open. I'm gonna pick them this week, just because I think Cardinals are bad, and so are the Giants, but I just think the Giants are a little bit better. I mean, they got Saquon. So he's got to do something this year. I mean, this week, Darren Waller has to be involved more. You can't have 3 passes for 36 yards. He's their number one weapon, I feel like, on that offense, other than Saquon. If they don't get him involved, it could be bad. But, yeah, I think the Giants suck. I think the Cardinals suck. It'll be a shit game. Yep. But I just think the Giants will find a way to win because they do have a little bit of way to find a win. Like last year wasn't sustainable at all. That's why I'm sleeping so hard on them this year. But I just think they'll be able to get a win here and right the ship a little bit in the fan base.
In this next game, we got the other fake New York team. We got the New York Jets.
New Jersey Jets.
New Jersey Jets, yeah. Going against Dallas Cowboys. Now the Jets, I mean, everyone's heard the big news by now. No more Aaron Rodgers, and yeah, maybe he'll retire, go off of the sunset or whatever. But that completely changes the makeup of their team. Now it's Zach Wilson, the Mormon. So their defense, like we've said earlier today, is super good. So maybe that'll make them not get completely murdered like the Giants did. But I'm still thinking Dallas by attempted murder. So that's what I'm going with.
Aaron Rodgers, man. They did that whole pregame thing with him doing that one-on-one interview, and he was all cocky. He's like, yeah, I'm here to win the Super Bowl. We're winning it this year. Why am I going to be shy about it? We're going to win the ring this year. I'm going to manifest it right now. And then on the fourth offensive snap, his career's probably over. That's just how quick it happens in the NFL. He ran out with that American flag. That's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, that American flag thing was really cool for 9/11. I was like almost hyped for him in a way. I'm like, I'm glad Aaron Rodgers is happy.
I was like, fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. I didn't want him to get hurt, obviously.
No.
I was like, fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. But the flag's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably the end of his career, though. He's 40, and that takes an 11. KD wasn't good for 2 years after he tore his Achilles, although he tore it twice because they were kind of stupid with it. But still, Aaron Rodgers is a whole other topic. This game, the Jets' defense is obviously good. They're going to hold. I'm not huge on the Dallas offense. I really don't love the Dallas offense. CeeDee Lamb is really good. That's about where it ends for me. I'm not the biggest Tony Pollard guy. Brandon Cooks is a good number 2 option, but he's on the wrong side of 30, and we'll see how he does this year. He was good last year in Houston, I believe he was at. I think the Cowboys' defense is good. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game.
Brandon Cooks is 29.
Okay, so he's still on the right side of 30.
He's in his prime.
He's in his prime right now. I thought, dude, he feels like he's been in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was 34.
He's been in the league for. I remember he was on the Saints with Drew Brees.
I thought he was 34.
He played with Tom Brady on the bats.
He always gets 1,000 yards.
He does. But I'm not huge on this Cowboys offense still. I'm not a big Tony Pollard believer, and I don't know. He just isn't like anything special to me. I still think the Cowboys will win the game, though. The Jets and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's going to have a really hard time with that Dallas defense. Yeah. It might be like Cowboys. I'd go Cowboys like 14-0, something like that. It's going to be tough for the Jets getting points in that one.
I got it 17-13 Cowboys.
Okay.
Jets defense will keep them in just about every game. They're insane. Like I said earlier, best defense in the league, I think. But I just think Cowboys defense will take care of business. We didn't get this. I didn't really watch the game at all, going to be completely honest, the 40-0 game, because I was doing stuff. And by the time I turned it on, it was like a blowout.
I think I was watching Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I turned on, it was a blowout. But it looks like Dak didn't look too great. But this is our quarterback next year, so he'll bounce back. I'm not gonna. I don't think this needs to be talked about too much. It'll be a good game. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets found a way to win.
Yeah,
they're a great team still. They just have a serious liability at quarterback with Zach Wilson. I just think the Cowboys, I picked them to make the Super Bowl so the Bills can avenge their fucking losses against them. So I'm going to ride with the Cowboys. Hobo.
What do we got? We got Washington at Denver next.
Great.
Yeah. Well, based on how Washington played Arizona, I'm lower on Washington now. And Denver and Las Vegas, I don't know what to take from that either. That went exactly how I expected. Close and nothing special. But with Cody Galton and his great picks, I'm also going to make a Cody Galton pick, and I'm going with Denver on this one.
So Washington's a team I'm pretty high on this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that's about a 10-win team right there. Their defensive front might be the deepest and best in the league, besides maybe the Jets. Up front, they're just disgusting. De'Aaron Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young.
Is he back yet?
I don't think he's back yet, but either way, they have another guy there too that's really good.
They're my favorite defensive line.
They're a nasty defensive line. Their secondary's better this year. Cameron Curl's probably the most underrated safety in the league. Fuller's a good corner. The kid they drafted, Emmanuel Forbes. I was high on him. Their weapons are great. I really like Doxson. Terry McLaurin was a little banged up week 1, but he should be better now from that turf toe injury. Their backs are young. I like Gibson and Robinson and Sam Howell. That's the big question right there. Not long ago, like 3 years ago, he was in every mock draft as a top 5 pick. Had a bad year at North Carolina, slid all the way to the 5th round. I didn't think he looked that bad this game, though. He played pretty decent. He had those 2 turnovers were very bad. He made 2 very bad decisions. But outside of that, he did a good job just managing this offense. And with the defense he has, I think that'll be enough to win games this year for Washington. I'm really high on the Commanders this year. I think they're about a 10-win team. And I think one of those 10 wins will be this week against Denver. Russell Wilson's just not it. Sean Payton knows Russell Wilson's not it. Sean Payton apparently has been like shit-talking Russell Wilson, trying to get him to like man up to him, and he just won't do it. And they have no receivers. They have no receivers in Denver. Their defense, they have a good secondary, but I like Washington in this game. I think Washington's the better team all around, and I think Washington wins.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. You summed it up good enough for me. I don't think people really care that much about the Washington and Denver game. I rolled with you last week, Cody. Not rolling with you this week. Commanders will get it done. I need Terry McLaurin to step up for me this week. Howell looks like a serviceable quarterback. He doesn't look like an amazing quarterback, but he doesn't look bad. He's going to make stupid choices just like every young quarterback. But I think they'll get the job done because I think the Broncos might tank this year.
Yeah.
Which would be great for them.
Get rid of Ross, reboot.
Yeah. And great for the Bills because then that fucking conference will be a straight shit show. Well, division if they hit on their quarterback, but who knows? Yeah.
The next game we got Miami coming in New England, and yeah, Miami was rolling last week, but good old Billy B, he's always cooking something up. I mean, he kept in the game against the Eagles and all that, so I think Miami's still gonna win this one, but I think Bill's gonna keep it closer than people might think. But I'm taking Miami on this one.
Patriots new cornerback.
The Patriots.
Christian Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Patriots, I do like the Patriots this year because this year they have an offensive coordinator compared to Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, whatever the hell they were trying to do last year. Want to talk about a great way to fuck up your fucking second-year quarterback's confidence? Give them Joe Judge and Matt Patricia writing up the offense. It looked like crap last year. And week one, magically, wow, you actually get an offensive coordinator. It looked a lot better. Mac Jones had one of the better games of his career week one against the good Eagles defense. He looked really sharp. I like the way with Mac Jones' ball placement. I like the way the Patriots offense looked. It looked like they had some good weapons there. The defense, it's a Bill Belichick defense. It's always going to be a good defense no matter what the names are on that side of the ball. Back to my Tua take from earlier there on Miami. Tua, I just feel like a lot of people shit on that guy, and I don't quite get it. I always liked him even back at Alabama. He's a little fragile, but out of every quarterback I've ever watched, I don't know if I've seen one that is more accurate than Tua. Tua can fit a ball into an absolute where Tua wants to put the ball is where the ball is going to go. He just fits it in the exact spot. And with receivers like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, that's a lethal combination. I mean, if Tua stays healthy this year, Miami, they could win it all. I'm just going to be up front. Vic Fangio's defense is very good. They're very good in the secondary. They got Bradley Chubb up front. They played pretty well against the Chargers. The Chargers, obviously, pretty good offense. I know they still gave up 34 points, but it wasn't... Chargers are a team that can definitely put up 34 points on a good defense. I think that Vic Fangio defense will have a really good day against Mac Jones in the offense. I almost wanted to pick the Patriots for the upset pick here, but I just think that the Dolphins' high-octane offense... too much for Mac Jones to keep up with. The Dolphins are just going to score too many points. Dolphins win this one by probably about 10-ish points, I'd say.
What I'm looking at here is 29 yards rushing by Zeke and 25 yards rushing by Stevenson. That's not going to... I think they're going to run the ball this game. Yeah. You need to try to eat clock off, keep that offense off the fucking field. I was kind of leaning a little bit towards going upset as well, but I think the Dolphins are the best team in the league right now.
Yep.
Like, they played amazing. They looked amazing. Offense looks amazing. I agree with you. I was heartbroken when the Dolphins picked Tua. Yeah. I was like, now I have to hate this guy. I have to hate this guy now. So, because I really liked him at Alabama. He was nasty. He's accurate as fuck. If he stays healthy, they're going to be a real problem. Fuck Mac Jones. I'll never take that take back. Fuck Mac Jones. Fuck the Patriots.
Macaroni.
Dolphins will probably win this one by probably around 10. It'll be a close game, but I think the Dolphins will pull away at the end. They're just too much on the offense.
And let's see, we got 2 games left.
2 Monday night games.
Yeah, yeah, doubleheader Monday night. So we got a 7:15 game and an 8:15 game. So
neither one of them look great, right?
No, not really. I mean, you got the Cleveland-Pittsburgh, but
that'll be a fucking
interesting one.
17 to 12, 17 to 14, fucking high octane offenses right there.
Well, since it's a doubleheader, we'll do both picks at once. That we'll do these next 2 games.
Sounds
bada
good.
Bing, bada boom. Yeah. So Saints and Carolina, I think, we've talked about their division all the time. It's a wash. I feel like they could be closer, but I think the Saints are just a little bit better. Going with the Saints on that one. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I don't know what to think of Pittsburgh now because they look nice in the preseason, but they just got stomped by the 49ers, but it is the 49ers.
To them, I feel like.
Yeah, they seem to do
They
that.
just get shit on sometimes.
Yeah,
Same
we
thing-
fucking murdered them last year, and then they still were a good team.
Yeah, they still came out with the winning record. And same thing with Cleveland. They always seem to have Cincinnati's record because they won, but it wasn't like the most efficient win. But I'm gonna give this one to Cleveland by a little bit. I think Cleveland's gonna get that one out.
Do you make your pick? Are we doing both games at once? You said?
Yeah, we'll do both. So I'm going with New Orleans and Cleveland.
Okay, gotcha. I wasn't sure if you made the first pick. So first game, New Orleans and Carolina. I won't spend a long time on that one. Bryce Young has nobody to throw the football to. The defense is okay in Carolina, but I just don't see him being that good this year. I think that the Saints will win that one. Derek Carr looked decent week one. He's still Derek Carr. I'm not a big Derek Carr guy, but Saints are the better team. I'm going to take the Saints in that one to win by probably around 10. The second game, which is definitely the more intriguing one, Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looked terrible week one. There's no other way to put it. And the thing is, TJ Watt played good. Like, if you want to, the way that they had to beat the 49ers was TJ Watt to have a huge game. TJ Watt did have that huge game, but it didn't matter because the 49ers were just that good.
What, he have 3 forced fumbles?
Yeah, he had I think it was something like that. He had 2
39
sacks.
points against me on Kyle's team.
Yeah, he was just insane week one. And Cleveland, though, Myles Garrett might be the best defensive player in the NFL. It's close, but I'm almost willing to make that take. He is very good. He absolutely bullied Orlando Brown in week one. I mean, he made, after all that money that Cincinnati gave friggin' Orlando Brown got absolutely bullied by Myles Garrett. Joe Burrow didn't have a clean pocket to throw to all day. That's a great defensive unit in Cleveland on all 3 levels, a really good defense. I like the weapons they have in Cleveland, too. And Deshaun Watson at quarterback, everyone on every sports show I listen to, they talk about this guy like he was never good. Like, they talk about him like he was just kind of an okay quarterback in Houston. He was a top 3 quarterback in the league when he was in Houston. He just has this ability to extend plays and this ability to make stupid plays that is Mahomes-like. And I mean, he's been away from the game for a while, but I saw flashes of that in that Cincinnati game. There were moments where he would just stand in the pocket under pressure, deliver a strike downfield, make a play with his legs. He's still very rusty. But by the end of the year, I'd be surprised if Deshaun Watson wasn't back to near a top 5 level quarterback. And I get why I feel like people are talking with their emotions when they talk about Deshaun Watson, because everyone's obviously upset about the bad things he did. But I am compartmentalizing Deshaun Watson the person and Deshaun Watson the football player.
Objectively looking at him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just, the Deshaun Watson the football player was a top 3 quarterback before all that stuff happened. And I mean, I saw everyone's acting like his game was just okay against Cleveland, which the stats weren't great, but I saw pieces of that Deshaun Watson still in there. I think Cleveland is a very dark horse team in the AFC this year, and I'm going to take them over Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland is a little bit better team right now, and I think this is going to be an interesting game.
I'm going to go with this first game is super exciting. I got the Saints. Saints got a better quarterback. As of now, Bryce Young has potential. As of now, Derek Carr is better. They got Olave and Michael Thomas looked pretty good last week. I think I think it's pretty simple that the Ohio State wideout room over there is going to lead them to the victory. Saints should win that fairly easily. Browns-Steelers game, it's not going to be an exciting game. Everyone knows that. It'll be a defensive game. Hopefully, Myles Garrett rips Kenny Pickett's helmet off this time and clubs him with it, because that would be cool.
I don't like that. I like Kenny Pickett.
I'm riding with the Steel City in this game for no real reason. I understand your take with Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's going to be top 5 at the end of the year. I could definitely see him squeaking in the top 10. I just think the quarterbacks this year have gotten so much better, and I see the flashes in him too. It's just I don't like him as a person, so I am going to let my emotions speak. I know how nasty he was, because I liked Deshaun Watson coming out of the draft. I wanted Deshaun Watson coming out of the draft.
Tell you, when I think about that, dude, all I think about was that playoff game against the Bills
Yeah.
when we had him sacked and he was emerged out of the pile and threw a 50-yard pass down the field.
I think that was young Matt Milano.
That was young Matt Milano. And that's kind of stuff he did.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson's nasty. It's just all those years off. He's got to turn a corner soon. I get he's only played a couple games in the past years, but you just want to see more from him, bigger jumps from him, I feel like. It's a tough game. I mean, he played in the division. I can't. What am I to say anything? Josh Allen looked like straight dog doo-doo. So I just don't have a real reason to pick the Steelers other than I feel like the Steelers get blown out all the time and then figure out a way to bounce back.
It's Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's a solid-ass coach. They're always going to be a decent team. And just fucking let's ride with the Steel City, I guess.
I appreciate that. So, we're 16 picks up, 16 picks down for week 2. We got that all wrapped up. Just a couple updates on the podcast. We've been on Spotify and YouTube. We'll be on Amazon Music and Apple now. We're working on Google, but they're being a little squirrely, so I don't know. And then also, if you ever want to be a guest on the podcast, just reach out on whatever social medias you find us on, and we'll book a week and we'll make it happen. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.